Sean here. Check out what I have here today. This is a Council Tool Woodcraft Pack Axe. What this is basically a more packable, lighter, smaller, made in the USA, comparable axe to something like a Gränsfors small Scandinavian forest axe. This one's on a 23-inch haft, which is probably the best all-around size for an axe. They also make one that's a little bit shorter, just like this Council Tool Velvet Cut on a 19-inch haft, which is similar to the small forest axe that you see someone like Ray Mears using all the time. It's got a very, very thin bit geometry on there, and you can see there's a newer finish these are coming with. You can see those rainbow colors on there. Instead of leaving it completely blackened from the forging scale, what they're now doing is they're grinding that off, and they're allowing you to see how they've basically tempered the blade. So if you don't know what that is, basically when you heat treat any knife or metal, what you do is you heat it up, cherry red hot, make sure you get the right temperatures, you dip it inside something to then lock in the hardness. Too hard to use, so then you have to go ahead and draw some of that temper back, some of the hardness away. That's called tempering. So that's what those colors are. Those colors let you know what hardness that the temper is left at. So you can see the really cool, it looks like a case hardening effect on there. It's very pretty. This is a new finish that these are coming with. You've seen in some other videos where they've left the forging scale all the way on here. They're not going to do that anymore. Now it's just going to be some forging scale on there, but they're going to allow you to see this really cool tempering effect that they have on here. Nice flat bevel on here like you've seen in some other videos. So the edge is pretty cool. But then also what they've done is, it's not as sharp as it could be because they've actually finished this on a buffing wheel. Whenever you do that, you get a little bit of micro-convexing going on, and that's not ideal. I know some people are probably out there thinking, dude, micro-convex is the strongest. Well, you want a convex bevel if you want a strong edge, okay? So you want convex behind the edge, but your actual edge, you probably want something more of a like a V grind. You can see I'm rubbing my fingers on there with no fear of being cut. So I'll have to go ahead and change that. I'll sharpen that up. Let's go ahead and check this thing out some more. You can see that we've got the phantom bevels on here. What the phantom bevels are for is so that when you're cutting into the wood, so that you can go ahead and release the bit out of the wood versus it getting stuck. But this also has a secondary feature in that you can actually use that. That allows it to be a sharp 90-degree point on there. I'll grab my keys, and you can use a ferrocerium rod to go ahead and strike to make the sparks come off there. So you can see that right there. And there's been some other videos on that as well, so it's pretty sweet. What the pole does on an axe, most people think it is a hammer. It's not. On most axes, it's not actually treated like that. What that does is it helps stabilize the blade as you're swinging. But with this one, we have that advantage where we can use it as a hammer. So you can actually hammer with this without ever having fear of damaging your eye, because that's the problem. If these aren't heat treated, then you can cause some deformation to your eye, ruin your axe completely. So that's a pretty cool feature. You can pound away, pound wedges, you can pound in tent stakes, all that stuff. Pretty cool. Well, let me show you guys on paper if you guys don't believe the finger test, but definitely not able to cut the paper as good as we can. We're going to go ahead and change that. Stick around and touch this thing up. Let's get some size comparisons. I showed you guys here. This is a Council Tool Velvet Cut Hudson Bay. These both have a 5160 alloy hardened to about 54 HRC, which is probably one of the good hardnesses for a steel like this. I think some people have also complained that maybe they want it a little bit harder, but the thing about increasing hardness is that in cold weather, you're also increasing the brittleness of the actual metal. And since these axes are going to be used across the world, you kind of don't want to take that gambit right there. We'll talk more about that later, so stick around. Well, you can see here also the thickness, despite those phantom bevels, okay, which are right there, we're still much thinner on the bit than we are in this Hudson Bay pattern. And also, it just feels incredibly light, much lighter, very well balanced, great swing on here as well. So this is a 19-inch haft compared to a 23-inch haft. We'll also compare it to the Council Tool Boys Axe, and you can see right here, this is a 28-inch haft right here, and this right here is a 23-inch, so you just get much more room on this. This has a velvet cut handle as well, which is much thinner on this axe right here. This one has kind of a moderate thickness on here. It feels very comfortable though. I do like the way this thing feels. Definitely feels really well balanced, and the great thing about it is you can choke up back here like this, or you can still swing like you would a longer axe. So this is probably like the Glock 19 of axes. Definitely, it's small enough to carry, but big enough to get a lot of great work done. So very cool. Also compared to something that's actually the same size, like this Fisker's X15, and you can see right here, these are basically equal in size to your Fiskars X15. But again, the edge geometries are much, much different. So stick around. We'll definitely have to go into much, much more detail about this awesome council tool pack axe. It's definitely really, really sweet. We'll also talk about the man behind this Woodcraft line. His name is actually Craig Roost, and he's really, really awesome. We'll have to go ahead and get some information, more information about this axe and about him and the design behind it. So stick around and we'll talk more. Alright, so if you purchase your Woodcraft pack axe, what it comes with is just simple axe mask right here. But there's an upgraded sheath that you could purchase. What it is it's a strap that's purchased separately, as well as a top-down, basically snap sheath like this. And so you buy the two components separately and you put them together, and what you get basically is this right here. Come in here and you have rapid access, like you just saw, to your pack axe. It's easy to carry, it's out of the way when you need it, and we're talking top quality. So let's go ahead and put the axe aside for now. I know it's beautiful, we want to check it out more, but this isn't like this sheath right here. This sheath is actually made by a leather company. They've actually contracted out to a really high quality leather company called Maker's Leather. And wow, just phenomenal. You could see the belt loop on the back. Just the difference between the belt loops here. I mean, I've been using this belt loop right here, but it's pretty flimsy and you need a pretty thin belt. This right here is not a problem. It's much more reinforced. We've got a square here. And yeah, just the quality of the leather. It's just very firm, very thick. You can see the welt on there is nice and thick. And we've got these really nice heavy gauge buckles, heavy gauge rivets that are riveted all the way through here. Yeah, just impressive. It does cost, I think, a lot more for this sheath setup, but it is pretty sweet. Now the strap itself, the leather that they use on here, I'm just blown away by it. I mean, it's got this awesome coating on here. Some people, they've been harping about how this right here has Velcro on here. I say to you, don't knock it till you try it, because this is just a much faster method for how this sheath is supposed to work than if it were just some sort of really pretty buckle. Okay, for the functionality of this tool, I feel like the Velcro was a good choice. We can also see that we've got a beautiful engraving on the button. That's crazy cool, huh? And the engraving is in, we have a piece of rubber, a rubber washer. And then we have a flat head on this side, so you would have to press against here to cause friction against that rubber washer, and then you can use the spine of a knife, a bullet casing, whatever you want to go ahead and unscrew that, move that up and down here if you're going to use either the 19-inch or the 23-inch handle. So very cool stuff. This is where that Velcro comes in handy. Detach Velcro, because it's just much faster and convenient to do it this way than if it were a buckle. And there you have it, out of the way. Till the next adventure. So yeah, mad kudos on the sheath. I think the sheath is definitely a really sweet upgrade if you're, especially if you're really into bushcraft. Talked about how the edge could be reprofiled. We've got two different files right here, and this is kind of cool. We'll go into detail about files in a different video, but this right here is a double cut file, and this right here is a single cut file. Which one do you choose? Double cut's going to remove more material but leave you with a really horrible edge. That's why the single cut is recommended. It just leaves you less scratches to remove, but it's going to cut slower. So if you're ever curious about that, go with the single cut file, not the double cut. If you're going to use a file, you can use these little handles right here, and all these things do is you just hit them on. They're friction fit. When you don't want them on there, you just hit them off, but that just gives you something to hold on to. Also, something like a file card, when the teeth fill up with metal, it'll stop cutting as efficiently. So you could use this right here to clean out the metal. Steel on this, like we talked about, is 54, and rather than that being a disadvantage, 54 HRC means that we can use the file to sharpen this edge, which is just going to be the most efficient way to sharpen an axe, especially this single cut here. So let's go ahead and we'll come in here and put our scratches on this beautiful flat bevel. Filing, we just popped a burr on each side, and it was surprisingly quick. Again, it would have been faster with the double cut, but if you wanted to work up to a finer edge, it would be impossible to get the deep scratches out with this double cut file. We'll have to do a full-length unedited video on file sharpening with an axe for reprofiling and things like that. But just don't have the memory, don't have the time right now. So from here, once we got that burr, we can kind of do some alternating strokes on each side to go ahead and remove the burr. And sometimes I think I like to hold it like this so I can hit each side. And with this big flat bevel, it does make it easy, but it also means you have to remove a little bit more material, and then also you have to be careful and make sure you hit both planes, both the actual apex and the shoulder at the same time, so you're not putting a lot of different bevels on there. Again, we're just cleaning that up. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch to the water stones. Our water stones here, they're just here in this little billy pot right here. These are cheapo stones, these are king stones. This is my 1000 king stone, the brown, and then this right here is a 6K king stone. These are super cheap. I think you can buy both of these stones for like 35 bucks off Amazon, so definitely you don't have to break the bank. You could also get the work sharp stuff with the diamonds, but if you want a higher polished edge, higher performance edge, you're going to have less of those deep scratches that the diamonds would leave. So I think water stones are probably one of the best bet. I also have a small slurry stone inside here to help build up a mud slurry, which we'll check out here in just a bit. Alright, again using that slurry stone, condition our stone, get a lot of mud on there. Set that back in the water. Alright. And you don't want to add any pressure to this. You just really want the weight of this water stone, circular motion. Just make sure you're consistently hitting both planes like we talked about for the file. Alright, so this is the edge at the 1000K king stone. We'll go ahead and we'll have to wipe this off. I'll show you guys the finish. In order to get a more even finish, you're just going to have to spend more time getting the previous scratches out. But this is really just going to be the quick and dirty. I don't have a towel to wipe that off with. You can see here the finish that we have on here. Just a quick and dirty finish on there. It's the edge that matters, and we definitely have something that's grabbing my finger pads as I feel the edge, which means I'm where I want. I should be able to cut the paper much better than I was before. If I can grab my paper, here we go. So here we have the paper. Let's go ahead and check and see where we're at. Yeah, that's better. So now we're where we want to be, and that's just at the 1000 king. So now I'm ready to actually go out and test this axe, but we're going to take it a step further. Let's go ahead and try the 6K, and this should definitely be ready for some bushcrafting after that. Awesome. Before, we're going to use our slurry stone here to go ahead and build up a slurry. Now, people are often worried about grit contamination. This is kind of a cool setup though, because this stone is harder than this stone, so you're not going to contaminate the grit. And I'll show you. You could check, because this stone is red, and it would leave that red grit on there. We can see the slurry that we're building on this stone is all white. So let's build up a nice hearty slurry on here, and then we'll get to work. How much slurry we have on there, let's go ahead and we'll put our slurry stone away, and let's get to work on this axe. Also, what that slurry does is it helps me see where I'm actually hitting on the edge, since the slurry will mud up the areas that I'm touching. So it'll help polish, it'll help cut, and it also helps me with my work to see what I'm actually doing. So water stones are definitely the king when it comes to sharpening axes, I feel. Whew. Very sharp. Let's go ahead and clean that off. Should have brought a towel. So now you guys could see the bevel there. Again, I didn't take all the scratches out. Those file scratches are actually pretty deep. So in order to get like a real good mirror polish on here, what I'd have to do is I'd have to just spend much more time at lower grits getting all those scratches out. But my edge feels good. So not as pretty, but very sharp. We'll go ahead and we'll show you guys. We'll grab a piece of paper here. So that is one sharp pack axe, and you're not going to get that out of the box. I know. Ooh, it should be like that out of the box. Nah. And you know, all knives, all tools, everyone always asks what the sharpest axe or what the sharpest knife is. It's the one you sharpen. It's the one you sharpen. Ready for duty. What's up guys, Sean here, out here with my gear. Got my Melanica on my chest rig that I have here over my hard shell, and this gives me quick access to my Puko, and I could also put it away with two hands as well. And that's just attached on this harness with the beaners on here. This steel will rust, but we got some rust care equipment inside here. Got my tarp and got this council tool pack axe right here, and you can see with this upgraded sheath, it's pretty awesome because what we can do is we have rapid access to the tool. So the Velcro comes in handy because we can deploy this tool fast and use it when we need to cut something down. So let's go ahead and give this a whirl. Excellent. When we're done with this tool, what's also cool is because we have this harness. I'm calling it a harness, it's just the upgraded sheath. We can put it away rapidly. I find if we unclip here, come around the handle, that just makes it faster, because then we can come in here with the Velcro, and it's fairly quick. There's Velcro on each side, it doesn't matter. And then after we make sure that it's nice and snapped, throw it over our shoulder, we're good to go. Limbed and bucked. Razor sharp, dude. Excellent tool. Let's go ahead and put it away. Again, love the sheath. Out here in the field, and what do I have with me? I've got the Council Tool pack axe, trying out the mask sheath. You know, it can kind of just come right off, so, but in order to get it back on, we do have to snap it on there. So it does kind of not stay on as good as I would have wanted, but it's definitely going to stay on good enough to get the job done. Tucks in right there for when I need it. So yeah, let's go ahead and see if there's something for us to cut around here, huh? All right. All right, you can see the edge that's on there. Zero ground the edge. Just razor sharp. I mean, I could probably take off some beard hair there. So yeah, we're definitely sharp enough. See how well this edge holds up. Go ahead and we're gonna fell this tree right here. See about the size approximation from this head right here. So let's get to it. Man, impressive. Just so light, so fast, bites so deep. Awesome. I like it. You can really see just how deep that was biting into the wood right here. I mean, nice good sized chips here. This really thin bit, you can see the thinness of it. Man, that just really sinks into the wood, bites really, really deep, and you could swing it comfortably and fast because of how lightweight it is. So pretty awesome. Nice pocket here. Go ahead and we'll start on the back cut now. Really don't even really need much power when you're swinging this thing. Edge out of the way. Yeah, sick axe, dude. Love it. You can see the fibers of the hinge. You can see the size of what we cut down here. Alright, let's see how good she bucks. Jesus, just look at that, dude. Massive. Massive chips.